BMW has made a serious comeback in the world of reliability, and the B58 engine in this X7 is one of their most dependable engines yet. But can we really call the BMW X7 a reliable vehicle? Today we're diving into the common issues, design flaws, and my personal experience with the car over the last 18 months. Is this luxury SUV built to last? Let's find out. If you have been looking into buying a BMW X7, you've probably heard about the #1 common issue, which is the transfer case. The transfer case distributes power between the front and the rear axles, and all X7s are affected to some degree, but it's more common on the 2019 to 2021 models. The most common issue with the transfer case is jerking and shuddering on acceleration and poor power distribution between the front and the back wheels. If not taken care of, the transfer case can and will fail completely. The common symptoms would be grinding noises that get louder during gear changes or acceleration coming from the middle of the vehicle. It could also cause vibrations or harsh shifting, or even loss of all-wheel drive functionality, especially in slippery or off-road conditions. To resolve the issue, BMW dealers normally change the fluid first, which is located just over there, and ask you to drive 150 or so miles to see if the vibration comes back. If it does, in most cases the transfer case has to be replaced or rebuilt. To prevent this from happening, it's a good idea to change the fluid before any issues occur, even if BMW does not have it in their maintenance booklet that comes with the car. Some recommend changing it every 50,000 miles or so if you plan on keeping the car for a long term. And some reported seeing black fluid at only 25,000 miles. Either way, I'm pretty sure this was never changed on this car, so should I make a transfer case fluid change DIY video? Let me know down below. The second common issue in the BMW X7 is the leaky shark fin cover, and unlike the first common issue, I was definitely affected by this one, twice. I made a whole video about this, so go check that out if you'd like to see details, but basically the antenna cover on top of the roof right here leaked. Luckily, the car was still under warranty, so the dealer replaced the TCU module, which is the communications control unit, as well as the antenna under this little fin. That lasted about 3 months before it leaked again and killed the TCU module again. The second time, they fully removed the shark fin and sealed it completely, and it's been fine for a year now. Some owners have also reported sunroof leaks that let water in, but that's a little bit of a less common issue. But this does have basically 3 sections of glass on the roof, so I can see how that could happen. You'll know you have a bad seal when you see moisture in the headliner up here, or maybe even a little bit towards the front of the car, or if you see water in the rear seats, and or when the communication electronics stop working. In my case, the GPS, phone, emergency button, and any remote services stopped working completely. And after a couple of days, I got a message on the screen stating just that. If you notice any moisture or musty odor in the car, check the fin right away and have it resealed before it kills the modules that are housed in there. Those are expensive, and it's practically impossible to replace those yourself, as they have to be programmed and connected to the phone plan that's assigned to your vehicle, which can only be done at the dealer as far as I know. I have also started avoiding high pressure car washes, as both times the issue appeared, for me, it was a few days after I washed the car. Software glitches and related issues is our third most common problem on the X7. Early cars had somewhat frequent software glitches where the iDrive system would freeze or reboot randomly, and in some cases the lane keeping assist or the adaptive cruise control would disengage or fail to function completely. Owners also had issues with over-the-air updates failing or causing settings to reset. In fact, the last 2 times the car updated, I had to go in and enable the remote start each time. Little things like that are very annoying when you try to remote start the car on a cold morning, only to find out that you have to go in and re-enable that setting again from inside the car. Lately, I have also had an issue unlocking the car remotely for some reason. Although I still get the status from the car, so the communications are working and sometimes it unlocks the car, I'm not really sure what's happening just yet, but we'll probably have to look into that in the future. As you can imagine, symptoms of software glitches can be almost anything, as most of the car is controlled by software. But if you experience iDrive freezes, lagging, random resets, unresponsive touchscreen, Bluetooth issues, or driver assistance features not working correctly, then you have a software issue. Luckily, software issues can be fixed much easier than mechanical or electronic problems with some updates. Seems like the early 2019 and 2020 cars had some growing pains, and it took a couple of years to work out the new generation problems. Fully updated early cars and newer year models have had very few software glitches to report. Next, let's talk about the air suspension. I personally have not experienced any issues with it, and it's made it amazingly comfortable to drive the car. But once again, early cars have had problems with the air compressor malfunctioning, small leaks, sensor misbehaving, and control module issues leading to improper suspension calibration. Most common symptoms is vehicle sagging or sitting unevenly. So if the front sits low but the back sits high, or vice versa, or side to side, then you know you have a problem, especially if it's been parked for a long time. Most of the time you'd get a message on the screen stating that the height level adjustment is not available, and of course you wouldn't be able to raise or lower the car. The vehicle can also feel bumpier and less comfortable than normal. Most complaints come from 2019 to 2020 year models, so with headlights like this, but occasionally still reported on 2021 and newer cars. The solution here really depends on the actual problem, but it's almost never cheap, as both air springs and air compressor are very expensive. It's recommended to have everything inspected, checked, and calibrated as needed. I will not be talking too much about the engines in this video, as I've made an entire video on the B58 engine reliability that comes in the 40i model of the car like this. So check that out if you'd like to learn more. In general, the X7 40i model is more reliable and cheaper to maintain. If you want more power and go with the V8, you will get the N63 TU3 or Technical Update 3 engine in the xDrive 50i and the M50i. While the N63 engine used to not be considered reliable, the TU3 version is a solid improvement and doesn't have many issues. However, when things do go wrong, it gets very expensive, as there's no room to work in it, even in a giant car like this. So for those bigger jobs, the engine has to come out for the work to be done, and obviously that's expensive. The M60i version of the car has the S68 engine, but that's only been out for a year or so, and there's not really that much information on it yet, but it seems pretty reliable. Now that we have discussed most of the common issues, I wanted to mention a few other existing problems on this specific car. I'm not really sure how common these are across the range, but recently I started hearing a grinding noise coming from the steering column. It moves into position every time you get in and out of the car, and on some occasions it will make this really horrible noise. I've also heard people complain about creaking and squeaking and other noises coming from the same area. I'll try to capture it on video, but it happens like every 20th time or so, so it might be a little bit difficult. Another issue that's developed for me on this car has to do with the soft closed doors. The passenger door no longer pulls the door in automatically like the rest of the doors. So this one functions correctly. See that right there? That's what it's supposed to do. But the front passenger door does not do this anymore. So if I leave it just like that, nothing happens. Not really sure how to troubleshoot this one, or if it's common at all, but it's been really annoying for me because people are now used to the door auto closing for them, and they keep leaving it like this or slamming the door. One other issue, or more of a design flaw, that I wanted to mention is the air conditioning underperforming. Now, for me, it isn't really a huge deal, as I live in Midwest, and realistically we only get about 2 months of really hot weather. But if you live somewhere in Texas or Arizona or Florida where it gets really hot, be warned that the AC may not be up to par. Once the temperature outside goes above 90 degrees, it takes a very long time to cool down the cabin, and once it's in the higher 90s, it may never really cool down enough if you have 6 people in the car. I assume BMW used the same system as in their other cars, but didn't consider how ginormous the cabin of this car is and didn't increase the capacity. My car even has the 5-zone climate system, which should give it an advantage, but honestly, I don't think it really made any difference. There isn't really a solution for this as far as I can tell, as this is basically a design flaw, and some people have gone to the dealerships and asked if they could check the AC system, and basically the reports came back that that's how it's supposed to function. If you'd like to hear me complain about other annoying features of this BMW X7, go to this video right here. Before I finish up this video, the last thing to consider when buying an X7 are the wheels and tires. If you plan on getting the more powerful V8 version of the X7 and have a heavy foot, expect to buy tires every 15 to 20,000 miles, especially if you go for the performance staggered set like this. This is a heavy SUV, and like I said, in some cases with staggered wheels and tires, so you can't really rotate them, making it an expensive tire change at over $2,000 for the set. So if you're trying to save a little bit of money, maybe go for the 21s that can be easily rotated and are a little bit cheaper. Anyway, I hope this video has helped you research this beast of a car, and I hope I didn't turn you off from buying one, as these are amazing family haulers and a pleasure to own. It's just that 2019 and 2020 year models had some new generation problems that mostly got fixed under warranty. If you enjoyed this video, why not check out this video right here, where I will show you my top 7 hidden features on this BMW X7. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments down below. Let me know if I missed anything, or if you have any constructive criticism. Like the video if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!